Hello and welcome to Chess for Life in the time of Corona. Today we are delighted to welcome Fide Master Simon Bibby to the show. Simon was a regular on the English junior circuit, and in the year 2000 he moved out to Japan to teach English there. And Simon is the ex-Japanese champion. He was champion of Japan in 2002, and he also played for the Japanese Olympiad team in 2004. Simon, a big welcome to the show.
Oh, hello there. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you, both of you. So, yeah, nice to be here. Thank you.
Simon, can you start by telling us a bit about chess in Japan? And because you moved out to Japan in 2000, what were your impressions of chess in Japan compared with England?
Right, well, at first I wasn't actually playing chess. I'd kind of quit, really. But then after a few months, I decided to have a look, see if there's any chess, and I found a club. My teacher phoned up and found the club, and then through them I found out about some events in Tokyo. At the time, not so many players above 2200. There was Akira Watanabe, a strong FM, but he wasn't really playing so much. So there was 2 or 3 over 2200, but there wasn't really so many players at that time. So I played in Japan Championships 2001, and then I won it the year after. Since then, there's been a lot of players coming through. There's kind of more 2200s, 2300s now. It's growing slowly, but it's growing. Yeah.
Are you a celebrity in the Japanese chess scene, having won the championship?
I'm not sure I could quite say that, but small ponds, medium-sized fish. Well, I'm one of the high rateds, I guess, yeah. I'm number 6 or 7, I think. So I'm normally one of the high rated players, that's right, yeah.
And you played for Japan in the Olympiad in 2004. How was that?
Magnificent. It was quite an experience, yeah. I was selected quite late. I think they were short of players, and I was told that I hadn't really qualified because I'd played 24 games, not 25. Which is a rule I didn't even know about. I didn't even know about the selection. So they asked me to play as a latecomer, and then I was on board 1, which is a little bit scary. And then I remember the opening ceremony was it was really impressive. I thought, wow, this is a heavy event. And then the first couple of games were tough. We lost the first couple of matches. And then we got going. It was a bit of relief when I actually won a game. And finally, we kind of got category E gold. Something to be proud of. So we were on stage with like the Russians. Brozovic was just in front of us in his white trainers. We were just by the Chinese female team. So we were there on stage. It was fabulous. It's kind of mixing with the big ones, you know. It was a fantastic event. It was an amazing experience, really. So, obviously not such a high-rated player as myself and not such a high-rated team. Yeah.
And you grew up actually in the UK, didn't you?
That's right, yeah. So from the UK. Not that far from Matthew, actually.
Exactly.
Yes. I remember you were a Kent junior, weren't you?
That's right. Matthew's a year ahead of me in the Kent teams. That's right. So I think Matthew was board 1 for the under-11 team, and I think I was board 5. I was under 10.
Yeah.
I was kind of... So I was board 1 the year after, and Matthew was board 1 for the under-11 for South East England, and I kind of followed. And he went slightly higher than me, but that's right, Kent. I got my first ever chess computer from Matthew, a Mephisto.
Oh, right.
Mephisto. I remember the Mephistos, yes.
So I remember going around your house, Matthew, and getting this Mephisto computer. That's right.
God, that's right, yeah.
Right, so that's right. So Kent Juniors, that's right, and then moved to Warwickshire, so then around Birmingham area.
Yes. Were you studying there?
I moved there with my father's job, and then so I was kind of active when I was, at primary school, then the early teens, late teens not so much, and early 20s not so much, really, almost stopping, really. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been kind of having bouts of where you play a lot of chess, and then times where you don't play so much.
Ups and downs, really.
I'm really kind of when you've had a little break and then you start up again.
I found it tough coming back, just from not playing at all. I mean, even when I was playing in Japan before the Olympiad, I hadn't played over the board for like more than 6 months. So even when I'm active, I'm kind of not that active.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tough. You just don't have the tactics. You just don't have the freshness. You're just missing things. And players you should expect to beat just by being kind of higher rated and better. You just can't. They don't roll and die, unfortunately. Much as
it's kind of nice, isn't it, to have something to like chess to come back to that you can kind of play a lot or a little depending on how it suits you.
Yeah, it's wonderful because it's always there. It's kind of you can come and go, but it's always there. And in Japan, I find it's really nice. It's kind of a very friendly kind of atmosphere here. It's a good way to kind of meet new people, make new friends in a wholly different environment.
Do you speak Japanese?
Not as well as I should do. Depends who's asking. If English people ask, I'm like, yeah, maybe. If Japanese people ask, I'm like, not so much. I should be a lot better by now. We'll say that. Yeah.
Okay. And one thing I'm going to ask about is coronavirus. So in the UK, it's kind of a big problem for us at the moment, and so each day we're following the news. There's a high death rate, and we're in lockdown. How's Japan dealing with coronavirus?
Well, we in Japan we closed schools rather earlier, and there are some kind of systemic differences. I mean, people generally wear masks here anyway. Students at university, they wear masks. Even if they haven't put their makeup on, they might wear a mask. Masks are a thing that happens anyway. If walking around.
And has that been for a long time? That was well before coronavirus.
Yeah, forever really. If people are slightly sick or if it's cold in winter, people just wear a mask. Before the school exams, people wear them for preventative reasons to stop getting sick.
Okay.
So I think it's becoming more apparent in the West that masks are a good thing.
Going to be yes. I think it's yes. We have not been advised to yet, but I think it is probably coming. Yeah.
Yeah. So WHO it seems they might be coming around to this. And in Spain, the police officers at the stations are handing out like 10 million masks, aren't they?
Yeah.
So here, if I'm going out and about, I'm wearing a mask. This is normal.
Just normal.
In the cafes and restaurants, even before we kind of closed down, every cafe, restaurant, and shop would have a spray. So you just kind of wash your hands, and so the alcohol spray would be in every kind of shop and restaurant. McDonald's even, it's there.
Yeah.
So people are very aware. But even here, it's growing. I think there's more numbers now. Yeah. Tokyo is struggling. I think the hospitals are just going to be full. But
has it affected you where you are and in your work at all?
Yeah, my university, we're going to be teaching online for the first. We postponed for a month, and then we're going to be teaching online for the first 3 weeks at least until the end of May. Yeah, and then we're going to decide after that. So I fully anticipate teaching online for the whole of the semester. So I've been getting all my courses ready and helping the part-time staff to get ready, and it's. I mean, we had the orientation for all the students, and they're all spaced out, and they had to wear a mask, and all the staff had to wear a mask. So the whole room is people in masks. Yeah. So, but UK, nobody wears a mask, really? Is that?
No, and it has been. It was sort of talked about at the start of the crisis, and the advice was not to. And I think the reason really was because at that time there'd been a run on all the shops on all basic food items. And I think the thinking was that if people, the general public, got all the masks, there wouldn't be any for the NHS who really need the masks. And so we were basically advised not to, for that. I believe for that reason. But in the last few days in the press, then there's been much more discussion, and so I think at some point we will be advised to wear the masks, or especially if the WHO start advising it, and certainly even amongst ourselves, we're talking about wearing masks, and I think it will become now just maybe the norm.
Yeah, it's certainly the norm. I'm surprised if I see someone who's not wearing one really. I'm thinking, why is this person not wearing one?
No, we're definitely not at that stage yet. So if we go out, we can go to the food stores, is all we can go to. But if we go to food store, maybe maybe 50% of people would be wearing masks, even now in the middle of the outbreak.
Right, okay, yeah. I mean, in terms of lockdowns, the law is slightly different here. So I think the government can't really impose a strict lockdown. Okay. They can impose like an emergency measure, and then the local governors can kind of impose pseudo lockdowns. It's kind of advisory, don't go out, please, type thing.
Yeah, no, I think we had to rush a law through Parliament in order that we could be asked to lock down. And then there's discussion about how strongly the police enforce it, and that's been debated.
Yeah. I mean, here the police, you don't see the police kind of enforcing anything. We're told to kind of avoid non-essential travel, really.
Yes.
Our university says basically don't come in.
Yeah.
Unless you really, really have to, and then but there's still people on the train, still people out and about. There's fewer. Yeah. It's not anything like what it is in England, Europe, England, Spain, Italy, or anything. It's not yet. Yeah.
Do you have any family back in the UK, Simon? Still?
That's right. Yeah. So I've been sending masks over. Yeah. So my parents and my sister and my niece and nephew. That's right. Still over there. So that's right. So I sent masks to my parents before, and then my sisters I sent some just recently.
Oh right,
so,
okay.
That's my contact.
By the way, my parents said, do say hello to Simon, and also to give our best wishes to his parents as well, because they remember you, from the junior days and everything. My mum was really thrilled when she heard we were interviewing you. So.
Well, thank you very much. I got my parents to say, yeah. I think they still exchange Christmas cards.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
It's a Christmas card thing. So yeah, pass on my best as well. Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
So Simon, what game have you selected for us to look at in just a minute?
Yeah, so I was thinking which to include and discussing the matter a little bit. As an old game of mine against someone quite decent. Yeah, my first game against the Grandmaster was actually I bizarrely managed to win the British Championships in 30 years ago maybe. I played against Glenn Fleer in the first round, and unfortunately for dear Glenn, he's absolutely lovely. He kind of stumbled into a line that I knew, and I didn't know much else. It's the line I actually knew very well. I'd looked at it with a guy from my club called Tony Dempsey, who's a very, very strong amateur, and we'd looked through this one particular line, and it just so happened that it was the line he played.
Oh, the power of prep.
Yeah, so I didn't know much else really. And he just stumbled into this line from. It's following a game from Karpov Kasparov, I think, I don't know, Skelftair or something, from the year before.
Yeah, the GMA tournaments, yeah, one of those.
Yeah, so it's just kind of lucky for me, and all the plans were just kind of there, so I just kind of boom, and somehow kind of won, really.
Excellent. All right, Thank you very much, Simon. Let's look at the game.
Right, yeah.
Okay, let's have a look at this game. So this is Glenn Fleer, very strong English Grandmaster, against Simon. Eastbourne 1990, so British Championships. Actually, it's a bit of a trauma for me because Eastbourne 1990 was an appalling British Championship for me. But you had how did you do in the end? Actually, I mean, you won this great game in the first round.
I think I'm about halfway. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I can't remember, to be honest. 5.5 or something like that.
Okay.
It's somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
I lost an absolutely horrible game against Batsman.
Oh no! Yes. The famous one. Oh my goodness.
I could have chosen that one maybe, but that's already been in the Telegraph, I think.
Yes.
Nigel publishing that. Thank you.
But I remember this game because there was a big, it was quite, obviously it was one of the big upsets of the first round, and there was a big diagram of, for the position towards the end. So, when you chose this one, I remembered this one. It's, actually also, also why I thought it was a nice one to show because, sort of made the headlines in British chess when, because obviously Glenn, very strong grandmaster, very good theoretician, especially 1d4. Still is actually. He hasn't changed a bit somehow. He's still playing 1d4, still playing big theoretical openings. So It's but you were a lifelong King's Indian player, weren't you, Simon?
Yeah, I learned it about that time, maybe even for the British. I can't really remember.
Okay.
And I played it for a few years afterwards, on and off. Olympiad, I think I played the Dutch because I didn't have any theory books.
Okay.
Kind of winging. But at the time, in my teens, I was playing the King's Indian, yeah. From an Andrew Martin book, I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a very kind of colourful book. Yeah, so this game, a guy in my club, Tony Dempsey, he's kind of about 2200 strength.
Yeah.
He helped me prepare a little bit before the tournament, and he photocopied me a game of Karpov Kasparov. And it just so happened the first round that Glenn Fleer played exactly down this line.
Okay.
I didn't know much else, but this I did know.
Yeah. So this is
Fide. I'm just now remembering Eastbourne 1990. I was there also, and I was playing in the Major Open, I think. But the thing I remember, and I'm pretty sure it was Eastbourne 1990, was that there was a computer that was also entered into the Major Open. And so one of my games was against a computer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I suppose at that stage they must have been kind of 180, 200 strength, I suppose. And so at the time you could look at the games that they played. They had a tournament. They had a desk you could go to, and you could sort of prep the games that they'd played, and so you've kind of prepped against the computer. But it didn't win the Major Open, but it must have come midfield in the Major Open. I'm going to have to check this story afterwards, but I'm pretty sure it was that year.
My goodness, it's so whilst you were battling computers, we were battling humans in the. Yeah. It's so actually, Glenn's played quite a few different systems against the King's Indian. He played the 4 pawns attack, or he's been doing that, I think, a bit more recently. But this is the main Mar del Plata, the big one, D5 97, and here Glenn played 91 is one big variation, but Glenn played another big line, Knight D2. So, well, that's the nice thing about the King's Indian, I suppose, that you just you can just sort of start off with some fairly normal moves. So A5, stopping B4, A3, and Knight D7, just getting F5 rolling. So you were very much still in book here, Simon.
Oh yeah. I remembered I remember just lots of the ideas actually, kind of shuffling the knight to G8 and then taking the squares on the king's side, and I was just really happy here. Yeah. This is all standard stuff, and I could remember quite a lot further down. Yeah. Yeah.
So
lines I know almost nothing about, but this one I was goodness me.
Well, yeah, because it's
I thought
it's quite an unusual manoeuvre what Kasparov did here. So F5, B4. And then this great move, King H8, just to, as you said, to allow the knight coming round to G8 and unblock the black pieces that way. It's I mean, the nice thing about it is that normally in order to get your counterplay going, you have to do something like F4 and G5 and all that. And here Black can actually get his pieces active without giving up the central tension. So it keeps those. It just keeps white guessing all the time what you're going to do, because you could play also F takes E4 and Knight F5. But here Glenn played a move that I think that hadn't been played. Oh no, he played F3 first of all. That's right, just supporting E4, and you went Knight G8. Just a great little move. So the other knight can come to F6 now, and actually because White's played F3, then your knight also gets the H5 square, which is really important. But this was an unusual move from Glenn. So Knight A4, because I think
I remember at the time, I remember that Knight B3 I think was normal.
That's right.
I knew at the time this kind of new or different.
Yeah.
I was like, I was like, either he knows this is good, or he just doesn't really know it very well. So I thought I'd just carry on just punting the same stuff, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's.
I think it wasn't very good, to be honest.
Yeah, this knight on A4, when you played A takes B4 now, and attacking that knight on A4 defended by the queen. His rook's off the file. It just feels very. Yeah, you always feel there's going to be tactics. The queen can't. It's just pinned to that square really because it's got to cover the knight on a4. If white gets everything in, then if he gets in c5 and c takes d6, and you take back with the c pawn, and white can get in knight c4 to b6, then possible that that white will get going. But it is very slow, and yeah. So c5, knight h5.
At the time, I felt it was kind of a little bit offside, and I thought it was kind of suboptimal. I didn't quite believe it, so I was like, "Yeah, just carry on."
Just carry on. Just carry on. Yeah.
Carry on, punting.
G3 and knight hf6. Yeah, I think wasn't that the game where Gary at some stage played knight takes g3? I think that's he did some crazy idea like this at some stage.
I can't really remember, to be honest, but I just remember this kind of manoeuvre, and I remember I had some idea, maybe his game was something else, that, if he goes g3, then I just get the light squares. I get the dark squares or the light squares.
Yeah, because it's a very nice...
rolled nicely.
Yeah, so it's a very nice plan, this. You're going to take on it on e4, in the game, go bishop h3, and then you've got this g4 square, and that king is really, really, really dangerous. So Glenn kept on going. b5, threatening b6, just to undermine your queen side. And you took bishop h3. Nice moves to play. Rook f3. So quite a flexible rook, that one. It could move over to the queen side, and also obviously keeps the f file blocked. And bishop h6. So I guess just aiming for knight g4 then, and coming into e3. It's so Glenn played rook b4.
Yeah, I remember at the time. I have a half memory of thinking, huh? I can see he's kind of defending laterally, but it just looked a bit iffy.
Yeah, you sort of feel that if white's got to start making moves like this, then something's not quite right. The rook defends e4, it defends the knight on a4, but it's not protected, it's loose, and you see d takes c5 attacks it as well, and just does feel very, 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 very loose indeed. So knight g4, yeah, you just keep on making these great attacking moves. Just keep on coming closer to the white king. It's and even your rook on a8 is beautifully placed there, everything's playing in this position. Knight f1.
It's so easy to play because you're just kind of lurching forward. Basically, just for an amateur against obviously a much stronger player. It was unfortunate for Glenn, who in any other position would just be outplaying the amateur, and just this position, it's so easy for black to be playing, really.
Yeah, it's sometimes you get that from time to time. I've had, I think that the most or the worst experiences in your career are when somehow you put yourself into a position where then for Glenn as white, his position demands so much more effort to play well than the opponents, and in general you want to be playing nice and quickly, putting the amateur under pressure and all that, and it just turns around completely, and actually somehow the problems that you've got to solve are just really, really difficult, and you're not even sure you can do them. And this is definitely one of those situations, because you're playing these beautifully natural attacking moves, the pressure's increasing, and Glenn's searching around with rook b4, rook f3, desperately trying to find a way to coordinate his pieces. So now this is very, very, very dangerous. So what did Glenn do? Okay, Glenn took on h6, takes, and then went queen c1. Yeah, kind of patching stuff together there. It's then knight fg4. Yeah, and the next worries are coming along. the f file. Yeah, this is very, very, very difficult for white. So I guess you're just threatening rook f3 and then queen f6 and rook f8 and
just coming in basically.
Yeah, just coming in.
Yeah. And if the queen moves away, I can just grab the dark squares again on g5. And
yeah.
Basically, just all my pieces are doing good stuff, and his are just kind of holding.
Yeah. This is when you love playing the King's Indian, isn't it? It's just really, everything just flows like this. It's just really all your pieces working beautifully. But Glenn went b6, so just undermining there. And c takes b6, and c takes d6. So yeah, that looks sensible somehow. Just yeah, maybe trying, I don't know, for queen c7 maybe at some stage, maybe just to try and do that. But yeah, you just keep on. That was a good move. That was a very good move, bishop f1. Because not an obvious move at all, actually. Just getting rid of that defensive knight. I mean, you think that bishop on h3 is so great, but actually you're just getting all the dark squares here. That was quite an unexpected move, actually. I mean, I think if king f1, you can probably just go knight h2 check to start with, which is going to be quite dangerous, and or maybe even something else. But queen f1 and then yeah, queen g5, and yeah, I guess White's getting really overloaded here because, I mean, you're threatening that e3 square. The rook on b3, well, rook can't go to b3 because this knight hangs. And I guess even stuff like queen e2, I mean, there must be loads of ideas, but I guess even stuff like b5 is possible. Because, you know, the queen's got to defend e3, the rook's got to defend b5, and if this knight moves away, then, I don't know, knight moves there, for example, you've got, you know, rook a1 check stuff coming in. So I thought bishop f1 was a really nice move, actually. So he went bishop g4, knight g4. But now, yeah, I mean, you just this knight is. But what really shocked me about the game actually was how quickly it went. It ended actually because I mean you've got a great attacking position, but still somehow you just it ended really quickly. It was so d7. So are we getting nervous here, Simon? Can you remember anything about the whole?
Yeah, I can remember. I can remember immediately after the game, and I can remember during the game. During the game, it's like, yeah, I think I'm winning, but but he's a GM, and it's the first round, and it's the first major. Perhaps after Lloyd's Bank, when I got my rating, I think this is the first major tournament I played in. So
okay,
my second international, really. And just yeah, I think I'm winning, but just young and inexperienced and not quite sure. Yeah, I thought it was happening. But
yeah,
you never quite sure until you get the one on the board.
No, exactly. It's so he went queen e3 check, which is very strong. The big problem is that king here, we can go queen d2 check and pick up that rook on b4. That's very painful. Or deliver mate on h2 if the white king goes back. Or even do a bit of both, actually. I think probably king h3 we can... what can we do? Queen b4 maybe, or knight f2 check first of all, I guess. But he went king h1, and we get this really nice mating pattern, actually. He goes knight f2 check, king there, and rook f8. And queen f3 check to h1 is just absolutely impossible to stop. It's quite amazing. Quite an amazing little mate there. It's... Well, yeah, came as when I was playing through it again, it just came as a surprise. It's just, I mean, White's got a rook and knight, but yeah, just on totally the wrong side of the board, completely out of it somehow.
That was a very convincing game, Simon.
That was really,
Thank you.
really, yeah, really showing a Grandmaster what yeah, that you've got to watch out for the King's Indian there. Really, yeah, really great game.
Yeah, I remember after the game kind of signing the score sheets and walking away to where my parents were waiting, and just my heart was just absolutely pounding. I can remember, it's 30 years ago, but I just remember it was like quite painful. It's like, am I healthy? Am I okay? Just the absolute pounding.
Yeah.
When it finished. Yeah.
Your parents must have been thrilled as well. It's because they really lived all your games as well, just like my parents. They lived all my games.
Yeah. I really appreciate our parents taking to all these tournaments and waiting, and the travel time and their holidays, and yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's much appreciated. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually said to my parents recently, now I've really got to apologise to you because, I realise now that, God, I was really, must have been so difficult. I was getting upset when I lost, really upset, and then sulking in the back of the car. And, it was when I started work, I suddenly realised, but oh my God, just think, my dad took me and my mum, they took me to these tournaments at the weekend. And then after, suffering this upset little child in the back of the car and, trying to do all his work, just sitting on a chair somewhere whilst I was playing, he had to go to work on Monday, thinking, oh my goodness, what a tiring thing it was, and I didn't even appreciate it, really. Well, I appreciated it, but didn't understand.
God knows where and back, and waiting and waiting and waiting, and hotels, and goodness me. One does appreciate it now, that's right. Not so much at the time, I do agree. Yeah,
it's By the way, you have kids, don't you, Simon?
I do, that's right, yeah.
Do they play chess at all? Have you managed to...
A little bit. I mean, as a dad and as a chess player, you kind of get torn that you don't want to force them to play something just because kind of you do. But then also, it's a little bit. Yeah, they're more into kind of Minecraft and skateboarding, and they're both good at skateboarding. So
okay.
Just a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not being force feeding.
Well, maybe you can just show them this game tonight as well, and just say, look, this game that that I won 1990, it's going to make the headlines again.
I can try. It's great.
Thanks very much, Simon, for showing us that game, and I brought back some nice memories of British chess in those days as well. So really lovely talking to you. Thanks very much, Simon.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you. Take it easy. Bye bye.